Hi there, this is Sierra from Sierra T Designs, and today I have this fun alcohol ink heart card to share with you. So let's jump right in. So to start, we are going to create the alcohol inked background, and I have a piece of Yupo paper here, and I have 99% isopropyl alcohol. And that's what I have in my little blue dropper bottle. And that just kind of gets a lot more movement out of your alcohol inks. And for the inks, I'm using 5 different colors. So I have raspberry and cranberry, which are just regular alcohol inks. They're all Tim Holtz though. And then I have Enchanted and Deception, which are pearl alcohol inks, and Gilded, which is an alloy, which is the gold alcohol ink. So I kind of am just going to create a bit of a pattern because I know that I'm going to trim this. So it doesn't really matter how it ends up looking because you just pick out the parts that you really like and keep those pieces, and then the rest kind of you can just, move around until you're happy with it. So I do get a fair amount of movement, which is why I like the isopropyl alcohol, because it gives you a lot of movement. Whereas blending solution creates blends in your color. So I think that they are both really good and a good thing to use together. I struggled to get the lid off of my blending solution, so that's why you haven't actually seen me use it yet. As here, I also have the isopropyl alcohol in a misting bottle. And you can see that 2 of my colors kind of got stuck in their little circle pattern that I dropped them. So I did struggle to get my lid off of my blending solution here. But you can see that the alcohol inks are still moving on their own because of that alcohol. So it kind of gives you a whole bunch of movement. And then here I brought in the blending solution to kind of get the colors to blend together a bit better. But again, honestly, it doesn't matter. This is probably not my best alcohol ink blend, but because we're going to trim it and create those hearts with it, it matters a little less because then you're just going to pick out the areas that you really like. And I did get some weird granulation from one of my colors, but I kind of think that it turned out neat because it just added a whole bunch of texture into the hearts that I'm going to cut out here in a second. So I don't know if I would have kept this as a background because I wasn't as happy with it as I was hoping, but for die cutting, I think that it turned out really pretty and created some really neat heart cuts. So at this point, it is completely dry. I do still put an extra sheet of paper in my sandwich just to be careful because otherwise I do find it will transfer. So I always like to be a little bit aware that my alcohol inks like to transfer to my plates, and then I tend to put them on other things. So this is just a sheet of paper here, just like a regular copy paper, and that's just to protect my plate to make sure that I don't have any transfer from the alcohol ink so that I can't put it on another project, which I have done before, so I like to be a little aware that that's kind of an issue. And then I have ran these through my die cutting machine. I did have a little bit of an issue with the one. I do find that I struggle to get Yupo paper to cut nicely. So the one heart on the farthest side, you're going to see that it didn't cut nicely. So easily I just pop those hearts right back into their little slots and then run it through again. And then I use the switch feature. Because it is the switch, it has that forward and backward motion. So here, this one popped up fine. This corner one there, though, it didn't die cut all the way through on the one side. So not a problem because you can easily put the heart back in where it was and then just run it back through. And I did do the little hearts as well because they were on that same side. And I think I just pushed the switch button before that quite had gone all the way. So that's on me. And then I just ran them through one more time to just get them to cut through. And they cut through perfectly this time. So I do have to struggle a little bit with Yupo paper. I do find it doesn't cut great for me. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're being die cut. It works. You really could just trim them a little bit if you needed to. I just kind of fiddle around with the machine until it cuts it the way I want it to without putting way too much pressure through the machine. As I don't want to break it. I need a little bit of extra pressure now and then. But they did pop out beautifully here, so that was okay. So I put them all on the mat there. And then I did think that I was only going to use these hearts and I didn't need any other colors. But in the packaging that my nested hearts are sitting in, I had some craft hearts and some white glitter cardstock hearts already pre-cut because I'd used them on a different project a while ago. I think they were some ATCs. And I thought that they would be really fun to bring in. So I did end up choosing to use some of those and save some of these pink hearts for a different project down the road. So you won't see me cut them because I've already cut them, but it was the exact same dies. And then I brought in the A2 Lacy Layers dies from Waffle Flower to create something for my hearts to sit on top of. And again, I pushed the switch button a little too early and it didn't quite cut that one edge. So I'm going to run this back through my die cutting machine. I'm learning where the switch button is the most useful and where it's not quite cut through properly. So it's a bit of a learning curve for me with the switch, but the die cutting machine itself is wonderful. I have to get my button pushing a little bit more accurate. And my cardstock did shift a little. You can see in the top left corner of the second piece, the one on top, it's not quite straight. Doesn't matter. I'm going to put a heart on top of it. You're not even going to see it. So it really doesn't even matter. But I did kind of mess up that cut a little bit. And then I just brought in my art glitter glue with a super fine tip. And I'm just going to adhere the hearts down. You can see here that I've kind of laid them out how I wanted them to go. But I'm going to forget and then fiddle with them a bunch. So bear with me as I kind of try to figure out this design. I honestly did struggle a little bit. I don't know why. The hearts are stunning. I couldn't quite get them to look the way I wanted them to. And you can see that I do have some craft hearts sitting up there as well. I chose not to use those on the front simply because I have a craft background, but I felt like the craft and pink looked beautiful together. So I kind of adhered the three hearts together that were like a little cluster, and then that big heart's going to go in the middle. And then I kind of have to play around a bit with my design. See, like even here, I forgot where I had that heart. So I kind of had to play around with it until I was happy with where it was sitting. I don't know why I struggled so much with this. Some days it comes together easily, and then other days it's a bit of a struggle. And this was one of those days where I just couldn't quite get it to work out the way I wanted it to. So hopefully that's not just me. I guess maybe I'm just so excited about my vacation because of course I'm doing all these before I leave so that I don't have to be worried about them not going up while I'm gone. But I'm struggling to focus on the things I need to get done here. But eventually I do figure out how I wanted my layout again, and then we just adhere them down. For some reason, could not get my ducks in a row for this, but we did get there in the end. And I love how this card turned out. I think that pink and brown, and it's funny because brown is not a color I gravitate to as a general rule. I know it's stunning for vintage projects, and I do bring it in quite a lot if I want for a vintage vibe. But as a general rule, I don't gravitate towards brown much. But brown and pink there's something about them together that I just really enjoy. And then the Neenah Desert Storm is just a really great cardstock anyways. And then this for the sentiment, I just really wanted to tuck a little sentiment strip under the big heart. So here it says, I think it says, well, hello there. And I thought that was super fitting. This could be a Valentine's Day card if you wanted it to be. I kind of more just made it like a, hey, how you doing kind of card. So you could make it romantic if you wanted to. I mean, it is hearts. But it doesn't have to be. This could go to a girlfriend of mine. This could go to a friend of mine. This could go to a family member. Really, it's pretty versatile other than it has some hearts on it. But I mean, love is not ever a bad thing. So I think that it was just kind of a fitting card to put together. And I really love how it turned out. And alcohol inks are always just kind of a blast to play with because they just do whatever they're going to do. And you just have to go along for the ride. So I think that this turned out really pretty. I love how it came together. I'd love to know what you guys think of it. As always, leave me a comment so I can hear what your thoughts are. I do always respond to my comments. I am usually a little bit behind, so I apologize for that. But if you ever have anything you want me to know, or you want to tell me something, or you want to share something, or you want to ask a question, please feel free. I would love to hear from you guys. You know that I really want to have a good community that is supportive and understanding and wants to kind of just create cool things together. So by all means, leave me anything that you'd like. And then I did bring in a couple of pearls. You guys know that I love pearls if you've been here for a minute. And these are the Satin Blanc pearls by Studio Katia. And I just put them kind of along with the hearts just to kind of beef up that little bit of a layout. And then that's kind of the whole thing. I did bring in a couple of the hearts on the inside. I really didn't want them to be wasted. Although the extra 2 little hearts at the top there, I have a bin set aside where I'm putting all of the leftover color-y bits that I create that I don't end up using on whatever card I made them for. And I'm going to save them for my junk journal. So likely they will show up again at some point in the future. Who knows when or where, but I am saving all of those pieces for future projects. So they kind of just will be really great embellishments on different things. So I'm going to hold up the card here so you guys can check it out and see all of that alcohol ink in its own glory. I think that it turned out really pretty. I'd love to know your thoughts. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday. I will see you guys again very soon. Bye-bye for now.